time once again for yet another episode of Chicken Tuesday. Let's go.
And don't forget, if you need anything and you order from Amazon, use our link. It'll help us out. It doesn't cost you a penny more.
Thanks, folks, for joining me today for a very special episode of Chicken Tuesday. This one comes at a request from one of our Patreon patrons, which we wanted to be able to share with them some of the things that they noticed about our chickens. The question came up, one of your chickens has a very red bum. Can you tell me why? And so we thought we'd come out, do a little special episode and talk about that today. Let's let the chickens out, and I'm going to give you a close-up look. Forewarning here, going to look at a chicken butt, but we're all adults here, right? And we're all here to learn about what's going on with chickens and how to take care of chickens. So if that kind of makes you kind of queasy and kind of funny, you could skip forward or skip to the next video. But if you're really interested, let's move on, shall we? Now, there are three very common reasons why a chicken would have a bare bottom and it seems kind of red. So if we take a close look for a long period of time, we'll notice that the backside of this one chicken actually turns a little more pink at some times and then red at other times, and it's just really kind of the mood of the bird at that moment. So that's one thing. The other thing is, why is it missing feathers? Okay, well this is where the answer gets a little more complex. One, it could be because, well, they're molting. Sure. Chickens, however, have a season of molting that's not too long. But these two birds, and I'm going to show you one that has kind of a bare bum and the other one that has kind of bare feathers underneath its wing. It's been going on way too long for it to be a molt. A molt usually starts around the neck, and you'll see some head and neck feathers go away, and then maybe some bum feathers and some wing feathers and things like that. But that doesn't last a very long time. So if you're noticing it going on for a very long time, it may not be a molt. The second reason that it might be there is because of mites. Yeah, so in their coop, there are all sorts of parasites. Let's be honest. And if you're even the most cleanliest chicken keeper, sometimes you're going to get mites. Now, the best way to combat that is dusting for mites. Although that's not always good for the chickens, because we are talking about an insecticide and that could poison the chickens. And so you want to kind of separate your chickens for a while and clean up your area, and then reintroduce the chickens to their pen again. And that can be kind of stressful for chickens, to be honest with you. So I try to avoid that if I can. So I keep it very, very clean. A much more natural approach could be to using diatomaceous earth. And we've talked about that in a previous episode, how it's a part of their diet because they can ingest it and it doesn't hurt them. It actually is beneficial. Or you can take diatomaceous earth and apply it directly to their skin where there may be mites, or just kind of dust them down with it. And I'll show you the tool here. I'll roll in a clip of what that tool looks like, and you just kind of spray it on them and it would help them. So mites could be one of the reasons. The third reason is you might have a pecker in your flock, which is one of the birds is very aggressive, and the more subservient birds may be susceptible to them pecking at the feathers for whatever reason. And I have a feeling in my particular case that is what is going on, because if I had mites, quite frankly, all of my chickens would have some missing feathers. But actually, I only have two situations. One, feathers missing from the bum, and two, feathers missing on another bird underneath the wing. If it was mites, all my birds would be exhibiting some feather loss and some irritation. So I'm suspecting someone is pecking another bird. Now, I do have a very, shall we say, aggressive bird, and it's the Rhode Island Red. She can be very aggressive, and she can be kind of a stinker to the other birds, and she has been seen pecking the other birds. However, there is a barred that sometimes pecks that Rhode Island Red. So they're all kind of persnickety towards each other from time to time. Now, that probably explains the pecking because I've noticed the behavior of my birds. That could be one of the reasons why the bird that has the feathers missing underneath the wing, she may be pecked on by that Rhode Island Red, because I've picked up that barred that has the feathers missing underneath, and she seems to be fine when I pick her up, but the minute I put my hand near there, she gets kind of afraid, like she doesn't want to. And I've looked very closely at the skin, and it doesn't seem overly irritated. It doesn't seem, I don't see any mites. I don't see any lesions as a result of mites. Something happened. Hang on a second. Yeah, just as I was talking there, I noticed one of them did get kind of out of control, and that's because bugs are flying around, and it went after a bug, and the other bird, the Rhode Island Red, got a little torqued off and pecked back at one of the other birds. So they were having a little chicken fight. Sorry about that. But so the one with the feathers kind of missing underneath the wing is probably being pecked on by that Rhode Island Red. Now, a fourth reason, it's actually 3B, is that they could self-peck sometimes. And I have a feeling that one of those bards, the bard that has the bum that's kind of red and kind of missing feathers, she may be actually over-preening and eliminating some of her own feathers. Now, additionally, some of that self-pecking might be because her bottom is irritated for some reason and she's trying to find some relief. And having it as red as it is leads me to believe there might be something going on there, but it's been very difficult to try to figure out what it is. It could be, I've checked her stool, her poop looks very normal. She doesn't seem to be bothered. I don't ever see her self-pecking herself, but it could be because she's laying on straw inside the brood box from now and then. It could be, poking her little butt, and so she kind of picks some of the feathers to try to find some relief. It's hard to say. The best thing to do is, if there's a real big question about it and it goes on for much longer than this, I'm probably going to take a stool sample and take her to the vet and have the vet kind of determine, is there some sort of thing going on inside the bird that's causing this festering? Could also be a reproductive thing. If reproduction organs are bothered in some way, she may be going back there to try to clean it, and it would seem unlikely that a rooster would be causing it because we don't have a rooster. For cases like that, it takes two to tango. There is a product called Blue Coat that you can put on so that if they are pecking or being pecked on, you won't get any infection. Now, I haven't gone to using Blue Coat because I don't see any raw sores or anything like that. Everything seems to be okay and somewhat under control, and not spreading to other birds. But Blue Coat would be an option if you started to see some lesions. It's almost like putting Bactine on a boo-boo.
Bactine. It's unsurpassed in infection protection.
It won't necessarily eliminate the boo-boo, but it does help promote some of the healing and promotes, it's a disinfectant, and it'll help disinfect the area to keep it from getting infected. So that's basically it. 3 reasons. 1, they're molting. My birds aren't right now, and it's an obvious thing about molting that you could see. 2 is that there are mites or some other parasites, and I'm not really seeing that because we keep a very close tab on our brood box and our other part of the coop, all the coop. And I don't see that behavior in the other birds. I only see it in 2 of them and in different spots. So I'm kind of eliminating the mites issue, and Blue Coat might be able to help the mites, by the way, keeping mites away. Then the 3rd is that there's a pecking issue, and I get the feeling that's probably what's going on with my birds. And the best thing I can do is monitor them and keep them apart if it's one against the other. And using Blue Coat will help, not about the pecking issue, but certainly about any infection that may come as a result of getting pecked. Or self-pecking, there's a little of that too. Anyway, that's all I got. Hopefully that helps you. If you have some experience with chickens and you have some things you want to add to that, do that in the comments down below. I would appreciate it, and so would the people that are watching this. That would be great. We all learn from each other, of course. And if you have any other questions about the birds, please let me know, and that'll help me do some future Chicken Tuesdays if you want to be able to have more Chicken Tuesdays. In the meantime, Take care of yourself. God bless you. God bless America. May America bless God. We'll see you next time.
Do me a favor, friends. Share this video on all your social media platforms, please. And don't forget, like the video. Wow, that's unusual. Haven't seen one of them before.